Yes, people, what's happening? We're back with another episode of Let the Punk Talk. As always, I'm joined by Carl from Boxing Royalty and our very special guest today, Mark Little. Mark, how are
How you doing?
you?
You good? Yeah, I'm really good, thank you, mate.
Good to hear. So, yeah, Mark, we'll start off. We must ask you some questions. So, yeah, I'll start off, Mark, because I've heard it's a good story. Tell us how you got into boxing.
So back in 2011, December 2011, my cousin got married, and I was a right big fat kid. I weighed about 23, 24 stone. So I thought, right, come January, do the normal. Everyone joins a gym in January, don't they? Everyone wants to feel fit in January. So yeah, so January 2012, I joined the gym. Met my trainer Paul Cook, who was training a few boys at the gym. Sort of watched him train the boys for 3 or 4 weeks, didn't do anything in the gym myself, just literally watched him train the boys, and then grew some confidence really, and just said to him, right, can you train me? And it was never about fighting, it was purely if I sort of done the boxing, it'll keep me interested in the gym. And that was it really. And then, as they say, the rest is history. And I sort of went through the unlicensed, had 12 fights in the unlicensed, and then turned pro and had 15 fights in the pros.
Nice. And I heard you was quite big, wasn't you? It was like 20 stone or
Yeah,
something.
23, 24 stone I was at my biggest.
And what stone is it you fight at?
I was fighting at 14.4, so I sort of dropped 10 stone to fight.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so it was tough.
Did you ever go through the amateurs or just unlicensed?
No, just unlicensed, mate. Yeah, no amateur career, nothing.
What are your thoughts on unlicensed boxing? Because, like me personally, I mean, I've gone to hundreds of shows, and I'm probably going to go to hundreds of more shows, and I've got loads of friends that do it. But I'm not the biggest fan of unlicensed boxing. I think it's quite dangerous.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Hmm.
I first got asked to do it with Paul. I was a bit like, I didn't know nothing about it. I didn't, unlicensed. I thought about fighting in the car park or something. I thought like, what do they mean by unlicensed boxing? But I actually was on the IBA, which is quite, it's quite a big thing. Alan Mortlock runs that, which was, to be fair, it was very, very well organised. The fights were pretty evenly matched. And it was it had quite a professional feel about it. And even when you speak to Steve Goodwin, he will tell you like it's as close to the pros as being a pro, if I'm honest. Other than obviously your medicals and all that, I know it's not a pro because it's completely different. But the actual standard and the way the shows were run, it was very, very similar. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I do get it. Listen, it's not a pro, and you can't say semi-pro. Like, no, there's pro or there's not pro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no, it was very well organised. So yeah, it was really good.
Nice, mate. You're also obviously a well-known West Ham fan. How, and I know like I've tried it myself with the QPR thing. How much of your fans were from like the West Ham background? Did you have quite a big following from your West Ham football fans?
Yeah, in the end, to be fair, that was massive.
Mm.
I had my sort of core that I always had, which was like family and close friends. And then the West Ham thing got involved, and that was just mad. It was crazy. Obviously, I got given the name the Bowling Boy, which obviously carried on from the old grand.
Mm.
Yeah, it was just, I can never knock it. Like, they have been brilliant with me from day one. All West Ham fans, even like see silly things like today. I went West Ham today, and like
Yeah,
people still saying hello to you because they know you was Mark Little the boxer. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
yeah, no, it was a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant thing. Do you know what I mean? And long may that continue. I'm still going over there. So
Yeah, nice to hear, man. So 15 fights you had as a pro, right?
yep.
What was your standout moment as a pro? What was your favorite fight?
It's weird. My favourite fight was a fight at the Brentwood Centre when I fought Daviditis or something like that. His name was. It was my first 6 rounder. The geezer was about 7'9". I'm not kidding you. He was massive. He was huge. He hit like a brick wall,
Yeah.
and it was my first real test as a pro, where
Mm.
you thought you get to that level where it's the next step from your 4 rounders to your 6 rounders. And as for me, I was building my career as I went because, like I said, I had no amateur career, nothing like that.
Mm.
And that was the fight where I actually thought, do you know what? Actually, I'm good enough to be a pro. And
Yeah.
that was the one for me that stands out, where I thought to myself, you know what? No, I'm not out of place here. I'm actually, it's right for me to do this. It's right for me to be a
Mm.
pro. Yeah, and that's the one that sticks out to me. And obviously, fighting for the Southern Area title, I will never ever forget.
Yeah.
It was a great achievement for myself. Would obviously feel like I won it, but that's another
Mm.
story. But yeah, no, for me, that was the turning point in my professional career where I thought, actually, do you know what? I'm worthy of being here. I can carry on.
Fair enough, mate. So as you just basically touched on the Daniel Mendez fight, was going to be my
Yeah,
next question. So I haven't watched it myself, but I know a lot of people that went, and I've heard a lot of things about it. I've heard it was a pretty bad robbery. I mean, as I said,
yeah,
I didn't see it, so I can't really speak on it. But I just wanted to get like your thoughts on it and what you thought. I think out of everyone I've asked and spoken to, and I've spoken to quite a lot of people, I think I've only found three people that thought Mendez won, and that was Martin Theopold,
yeah,
Adam from Southboard Jab, and the ref. And
yeah.
everyone else, it just said, I can't see any other way. So what
Well,
was
to be
your
honest with you, they're the only three people I know who thought I lost.
yeah,
Um, Everyone else I spoke to, yeah, your friend and family are obviously going to stick up with it, but sometimes your friends and family are more honest than others. So
yeah,
they sort of tell you yes or no. Um, my missus is the most brutally honest person you'll ever meet, and she will tell you straight. If I lost, she'd be like, "Listen, you lost. Like, get over
yeah,
it," sort of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, it'd be hard to watch, but you lost. My trainer Paul Cook, without that, he's the most honest man I've ever met, and he will straight up tell me, "No, Mark, you didn't do enough to win it."
mm,
Going into the every round, honestly, as the fight went on, I just felt more and more confident I was winning the fight, because I just felt like he wasn't doing anything. I didn't feel like I was getting hurt or nothing. There weren't a time in the fight where I thought, actually, I'm hurt. Like he's stepping up. And if I'm honest, from about the seventh round onwards, I generally thought every time I stood up for the next round, I thought he ain't getting up. Like I've got him. He's not going to come out. And that was from the seventh round onwards.
mm,
Um, and just as it went on, I just felt more and more confident. More and more, I felt like I was getting stronger. I just felt really good. Um, and then going into the last round, Paul went to me, like trainer Paul said to me, "Listen, don't lose the last round. Don't give him no like belief. Like, do not give him the last round." And I remember saying to him straight up, I said to him, I said, "Yeah, but I'm winning though." And he was like,
mm,
"Yeah, 100% you're winning, but don't give him the last round." And like I say, I thought I went out in the last round. I thought I beat him in the last round.
yeah,
Um, the only round I can honestly say I felt like I give him was the first round, and I think it was the sixth round, because no, sixth or seventh round I think it was. And I remember going into the corner, and as soon as I sat down in the corner, Paul's first words were to me, "You lost that round. You lost that round. Don't do it again." Other than that, they're the only two rounds I think I lost. I can't.
mm,
I can't see. I honestly cannot see where they got the decision from. I really can't, and I'll argue my point against anyone. Yeah, they might say he was cleaner shots, but if a 1-2 in every round wins you a Southern Area title from someone who's
yeah,
constantly going forward, my back never touched the rope once.
mm,
Um, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. That's my opinion. Yeah, of course, it's me. I felt like I won the fight, and I think I more than won the fight, and that's what works. I mean, if you give him if you give him 4 rounds out of the 10, you don't win the title. That fight, you don't win the title like that. There's no
mm.
way you win the title that way.
Yeah, it is well, like, as I said, I can't really have a proper opinion because I haven't seen it myself, but
Yeah,
from the things I've heard, it is just absolutely crazy. So, like,
yeah.
having said that, um, why do you think now's just the right time to retire?
If I'm honest, I already in my head, if I won the title, I was retiring.
Mm,
Purely because I'd achieved more than I ever thought I could achieve in boxing. Um, we've just come off of a 2-year break, really, because of COVID, and that's everyone,
mm,
not just me. That's everyone.
yeah,
But I'm 2 years older, and I felt like it was a 2 years that they probably took off of me in the career.
mm,
If they didn't happen, maybe I'd have already fought for the Southern Area title. I'm not too sure, but hopefully I would have. And then we could have the career probably would have prolonged a bit longer. Um, but I just feel like if I'd have won the fight, I was done. I was like, do you know what? Actually, I can end the career there and say, do you know what? Well done. Like I come out
yeah,
of there with a title, and for me, it was like my world title. I'm not, I'm not stupid enough to think I was going on to win much more. All right, the 2 years took off me through COVID was probably something that you don't know. You never know what you could have done in them 2 years. But for me personally, at that stage of my career, I felt like the Southern area was my world title. If I win it, I'm out of there. I'm done, and I can be a very, very happy person because no one can ever take it off you. Whatever happens, you can't. You don't ever lose it, do you?
Yeah.
And then obviously after the decision, straight away, don't get me wrong, I was like obviously angry, pissed off. I was like, no, that's it. I'm leaving. I ain't fighting no more. Blah blah blah. As you do, like a little spoiled little brat. But and then I sort of did think about it and thought, no, I can do it again. I'll go back and have another go. And then I don't know. It was really weird because obviously we got offered the rematch, but as you know, Jack, like you got to sell tickets, you got to do this, you got to do that. And when you think the first fight was vacant, so it's obviously 50-50, it's not as hard to sell. This one, the deal was ridiculous, like to try and sell the tickets for the fight and not really make much money myself. Obviously, then pay their money and all that. I just thought, like, do you know what? No, like I can't think it. I can't do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to give you because I don't feel like you won the fight anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then cut all that away. I sort of it was a right mad thing. On a Sunday evening, I was with my missus. I said, you know what? No, I'm going to do it. I'm going to have it. I'm going to have one more fight. I'm going to go back and have the rematch. And I woke up on a Monday morning. And I said to her, no, I'm done. And I just knew that was it. I knew I didn't want to. I haven't got it in me to get up no more. I mean, I work 12-hour days, 12-hour nights, go to the gym, and that it's hard. And it got to be fair, that last fight was tough to go through camp like that was tough. Tough on me, tough on my wife, tough on the kids, tough on everyone. Do you know what I mean? And I just thought, do you know what? No, I've done enough. Like I enjoyed everything I've done, and that's where it sort of ends for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, mate. Well, you did yourself very proud, mate. No matter
Really
what
appreciate that, mate.
No worries, man. And I know exactly where you're coming from, Mark, because obviously I'm a pro myself, and like I know how it is with the tickets and working. I've had to do it myself with like 12-hour shifts, and then you go down to the gym, and sometimes your coach can't always fit because he obviously works as well, and he can't always make.
That's it. Exactly.
It's hard, man. People don't understand how hard it is. But
listen, unless you're at that top level, and like you say, you've got the TV deals, you've got all that. You're in it, aren't you? You've got to just get through it.
100%, mate. 100%. But yeah, that's all my questions for Mark. Carl, have you got anything to say to him?
Well, I could
course he has.
Well, I could sit with YouTube for hours. Obviously, when obviously we talk about the retirement, when obviously I speak to Mark quite regularly, same as I do yourself, Jack, and I was saying to Mark, obviously, it was just I don't even know what to say. Like I've done interviews in the last week with Tom and with that SWS, but it was like, Jack, your fight in my eyes was unfair. You know, I thought you'd done enough, especially with the cut, but Mark's fight was just on par with Taylor Catchell. You know, I've come out and said it. I went down because I originally was sat ringside, and me, Rod got in with Jack, and we sat down at ringside, and they said to me, "Look, you can't cheer because obviously, like Mark said, he lost the first round, and I actually had the second round quite close as well." But Mark won that third round quite convincingly, and I got up and I was nearly touching the ropes in the ring, going, "Come on, Mark, let's." And one of the security guards was like, "Look, mate, you can't get up out your seat." I was like, "All right, well, fuck that. I'm going to go and sit upstairs then."
Yeah.
And after 8 rounds, I actually went down to Mark's wife, Charlene, who was sat literally next to us, and I just put my arm around her. I said, "He's done it." I said, "Like, there's just no way. I've got him 6-2 up. Like, he's won."
Yeah.
And Mark's right in what he's saying. Mendez got up at the 7th round. It's the 6th round he had a good round because I only give him 1, 2, and 6. But after the 7th, Mendez got up, and I swear to you, I thought he was going to quit. He got up, he was on the ropes, and he was looking down, and that Brian fella was like geeing him up, going, "Come on, what are you doing? Like, fight!" And he just didn't react. And I thought he's done it. Like Mark stopped him here. But look, mate, like you just said there, you've had a career that you never thought go back to when in the gym.
Exactly.
It's you just got to be proud. You know what I mean? Everyone's proud of you. You know, I'm proud of you, your wife, your family, all your fans. Everyone's proud. So
yeah. Listen, like I said, I've done more in boxing than I ever thought. I started boxing to lose weight, and I just use it as an interest in the gym. So it made me keep going back to the gym. When Paul said to me, "I'm going to get you fighting," it was only unlicensed. I was like, "No, you won't get me fighting." And then I think, Jack, you'll agree. Once you get that first fee, you think, "Well, yeah, I like this. I'm in it. I'm in this now." And then, like I say, sort of 12 fights later in the unlicensed, then turning pro, I mean, that was the biggest achievement of my life. Like, I've become a professional sportsman. Like, that's ridiculous. I know people might laugh at it and think, oh yeah, it's only a small boxing show or whatever, but we're still professionals. Like, and we ain't got the benefits of professionals as well as, I mean, we're going to work and stuff like that. So the money's nowhere near what people talk about. People see boxers and all they see is the boxers that are on TV. They don't see the people who have to work as well as boxing, sell tickets. All that comes with massive, massive stresses. Obviously, Jack, you'll be the same, like with sponsors and things like that. Sponsors help massively. I mean, I had some great sponsors. Still to this day, they all they're like friends of me now. Like, do you know what I mean? They're friends that you get that you'll never lose because, I mean, they helped you out massively. All my sponsors did. They was massive, but it's a tough sport. It's a massively tough sport, and it's a lonely sport. And I had to be a little bit selfish and say, like, no, like, I've done it. My kids are a bit more important now. My little girl, or my oldest girl, she's getting into the secondary school soon, and that's going to be important for her. We're moving soon. It just, everything sort of turned up at the right time for me to say, do you know what? I had a good career. No one's ever going to be able to take it off me, and I enjoyed it. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
There's one thing, like, you know, obviously I've been to, I think, 5 or 6 of your fights for definite. You know, and it seemed with your fights, and the same with Jack, actually, the support gets better every single fight. You know, like, obviously, I come with a few people, and obviously, like I said, Ringside, it was all right. And I was looking up and I was kind of thinking, fuck this, I don't want to be sat here. I want to be up with them. And if you go on the screen, you can actually see after, I think it's the 5th or 6th round, myself and 4 of the blokes I said to you about, the West Ham fans, and we're just going absolutely berserk to House of Pain, jumper up this hoodie on, flying it in the air. That's what I mean. I didn't even watch most of the fight after like 5, 6 rounds because I just, you know, when you've got a boxing on the telly and someone's schooling them, and you just think like, look, one thing I want to, like, if you rewatch that fight, right, Lee Every, don't even get me started on that div because he is a div. He spends the whole fight stood behind Mark, right? But one thing I want to quickly ask both of you is having the referee score a Southern Area fight right? Go on, Mark, I'll start with you.
No, I don't believe it is now. All right, it sounds a bit critical of me because of what's just happened, but no, I think anything over, I mean, 10 rounds, anything over that, I think you've got to be having judges, don't you? I mean, it don't make sense to me that a referee has got to take all that because, one, it's not fair on him either. Do you know what I mean? I don't see that. How he's doing his job by refereeing the fight, and then he's got to think, oh, actually, who am I going to give that round to? So, and I think when you get to like them title fights, you need opinions of other people. That one person doing that, for me, is wrong.
Yeah, literally everything Mark just said, I completely agree with. Like, how can you ref a 10-round fight and score it at the same time? Like, even from just a fan sitting at home, if I just want to watch a fight just out of enjoyment, I can't score it as well as watch it and enjoy it.
No, definitely not.
You can't. It's so different. Sitting down and actually scoring something and sitting down and watching it to enjoy it is 2 different things. So how can you do your job, like, you know, split them up, make sure like both fighters are okay in the corners, check for cuts, call doctors in, and all that, and also score a fight. And on top of that,
I agree.
On top of that, people like different styles as well. So, you know, if the ref might like the come forward fighter, but the back foot fighter might be doing the cleaner work, but he might be liking the come forward fighter. So you need different people's opinions. Like, you need 3 judges.
I definitely think just at any title level, regardless of what people make of it, for some people, i.e. like myself, the Southern Area is like a world title because you're not expected to do anything else in boxing. Like, I probably weren't even expected to get a Southern Area title. So for me, I agree now. I think it should be at least there should be 3 judges. I mean, a lot of my fans were like, oh, the judges were on their phones and all that. They didn't realise it was the referee doing it.
Yeah.
And like you had the boxing bald people was round the ring, like actually sitting on their phones during the rounds and stuff like that. So a lot of my fans were like, oh, they weren't even watching the fight. That was me. I said, no, the ref was the fight. So they got a bit mistaken by it. But what do you mean the ref was the judge? I was like, yeah, no, in 10 rounds, the referee's the judge. And I was like, that's ridiculous. Like, how can that be that? How can that work? And again, exactly that. But the problem is the money in small boxing, isn't it? Because they probably don't want to pay out for that. And that's no disrespect to like the Goodwin, because I have nothing but praise for Steve Goodwin's team for what he done for me as a pro. But I think it's just the boxing as a whole. I think you've got to give you got to start that down lower and then take it to the top.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's crazy.
But there's nothing more to me to add. Obviously, I'm definitely off of Lee Every's Christmas card list. That's for sure. I think the geezer just, and yeah, look, like you say, it might be hard on him that he's got to watch for cuts and speak to the corners and all this. But mate, when he got out of that ring, he had the biggest grin on his face, and that's what just switched me. I said, "Oi, Lee."
Sorry, my thing was, I think you could see by the way I reacted after the fight, and you could see by their reaction after the fight, there was only one winner. And that's for me. I just can't see anything else. And I've watched the fight back a few times now, and I just think you can see it. Like, they were so defeated and depleted in the corner after the fight. They had the medical team random, like checking him and all that. And I think I just don't think it was close. I really don't. And it's no disrespect to anybody. I don't think it was close.
No, you're not even biased there. But I said to him, Lee, what the fuck have you just seen to score that as you have? He said, I see what I see. And then when I watched the fight back, he stood behind you the whole fight. Like, it's just. And then there was the 3 officials that walked back, and I didn't clock they were on their phone, but I actually said to one of them, the guy with the red tie, I said, mate, are you going to do anything about this? And he said, well, what do you mean? I said, like, you're part of the board. If you see something there that's wrong, you can question that. He said, look, in my eyes, Mark won that fight. I said, what about you? Same thing. I said, you need to go back and it's clear that they're having props to Goodwin because he went back and he ordered the rematch. But Mendez is supposed to be fighting on Jack's card, but I'm telling you now, if he is, I ain't going to be in there when he is because I'll end up him throwing an egg at him. Honestly.
Listen, I don't know. I don't know if there was any complaints made or anything like that. It is what it is, isn't it? The annoying thing is it doesn't change the decision. It's a bit like the Jack Cattrall fight and all that. Regardless what people think, if it goes back to the board and they say, oh, yeah, the scores were probably a bit wrong, they don't turn you up at your ass the next day and go, actually, you was the winner, there's your belt. Do you know what I mean? It don't work like that, does it? So it's one of them, really.
So before we switch off of this sour subject, just one more thing on Mendez. Did you see him or his team after the fight at all? Did they say anything?
So when I went into the medical room, Mendez come in, and his first thing was to me, Mark, I weren't a judge. And I said, I know you weren't a judge, but you did win that fight. And that was enough for me. And then when his trainer come in, Brian, he was like, oh, you're such a gentleman. I was like, no. I don't want to hear I'm a gentleman. Like, I've just lost a title fight. I believe I won. And that was the last I see of him. I don't know. Yeah. So, and like I say, it's nothing against them. Like, at the end of the day, they didn't make the decision, but it is what it is. Like, I could talk about it till I'm blue in the face. It ain't going to change the result, is it?
What about Goodwin? Did he say anything after the fight?
He thought I won.
Yeah, well,
he thought I done enough to win the fight. Listen, and there ain't many people who tell you the otherwise. There really ain't. And that's what's more frustrating, because you think to yourself, what did you watch then? Because someone like me, like I am a come forward fighter, always have been, and I've always said it, I'm not the most technical, but surely when you think over 10 rounds, that person who was going forward all the time, it just done more. I just done more than a couple of 1-2s during every round. Do you know what I mean?
If you had a heat mat on Mendez for that fight, honestly, Jack, like, you've got the ring, it would just be a red line along the ropes, because Mendez did not move off the bell went on his back foot. And yes, okay, Mark, I mean, it was a quick 1-2. But then that was it. He would hold. It was. Yeah. Let's just leave Mendez, because I just think it's bollocks and it's caused a lot of problems. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah, it is what it is.
I've got a couple. So obviously, Jack fought Paul Roberts in March. Fuck March as well, actually. For the super flyweight Southern Area fight. Well, I know you didn't watch it, but what any thoughts at all?
I haven't seen the fight either, if I'm honest. I haven't watched any boxing. I'm not interested in boxing at the minute. No, but listen, I know obviously you got the rematch, Jack. My thing would be, listen, you know yourself, there's probably stuff you can do in training that was going to make you a better fighter, make you more prepared for it. Just go out and do it. You every fight I've ever seen you in, you're always a come forward fighter. You're always there to the end. Just keep doing what you're doing, and in the end, it'll come. It will come, and I'm sure of it. Do you know what I mean? I don't doubt you will win it. So, and like I say, I've heard a lot of people say you probably should have won it. It was close, but you should have won it. Because you've got time now to go and work on what you think was close and put that to, you know what I mean, put it to bed.
Yeah, thank you, mate. I will do.
No worries. Good man.
Are you going to try and get down, Mark?
Yeah, I'm hoping I'll definitely be there for that one. Yeah.
I think it's very well known. Obviously, we all underestimated Paul, but I think the cut, and I ain't going into it, but the cut definitely played a big part. Seeing my boy down there covered in blood. Oh, and then one more. Are you happy in retirement, Mark?
No. No, I listen. I am happy. I am happy. It's been really weird, if I'm honest. Like I said, I've been going through. There's loads of things been going on in life at the minute. Loads of stuff that are not from boxing. But yeah, I've just got no motivation. Like I've got no motivation to get back into the gym to even just train. So as I said to you earlier, like I've got myself involved in a couple of little half marathons just to try and get back in the gym so I can get myself fit. Otherwise, I'm just going to get fatter again. But no, listen, yeah, I'm happy. I achieved everything I thought I could achieve and more, really, because I never thought I could ever turn pro. I've lived a little bit of a dream, and do you know what I mean? For myself, it's been brilliant. Yeah, I am happy. It is what it is. I'm going to get back in the gym. I will get back in the gym just to keep the weight off. Yeah, no, I am happy. Yeah, and once I get on holiday in a few weeks' time and stuff like that, then I'll be even more happier.
Where can people donate for you to do these marathons?
Just go through my social media, like Instagram page or my Facebook page, and the links are on there. So Mark Adam Little on Facebook, and it's Mark Little Pro Boxer on Instagram. There's all links on there for the half marathon, which I'm doing. So yeah, it's good. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Lovely. Yeah, no worries. I'll definitely throw you through. And just while we're at it, I just want to obviously thank you for obviously coming through me for all your kit. I appreciate that. And
listen, mate, like I say, everything you've done for us, like that, I really, really appreciate that. It was all brilliant stuff. I'm sure Jack loves it all as well. So yeah, no, it was all good stuff, mate. It's all good.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, Jack, any other questions from Mark before we move on to the questions from other people?
No, I think I've gone through everything I wanted to, mate. So
all right, cool. So obviously on Instagram earlier, I put a post out saying that we was doing this tonight, and I've had, to be fair, more than usual. So I've not put it in name order. I'm just going to ask the questions, and I'll just whoever it is. So the first question is for Jack. Jack, did you underestimate Paul Roberts before the first fight?
I wouldn't really say I underestimated him. Like, no matter who it is or what belt or what rounds I'm fighting or anything, I always train and like leave no stone unturned. But in a sense, like he was much better than I thought he would be.
I'll add to that. Obviously, I think I definitely underestimated him. And in boxing, they say records are for DJs. He had a poor record, I suppose. Like what was it, 4-2 or something? I don't know.
3-3-1.
3-3-1, well, even worse. But yeah, I mean, I underestimated, and I thought he was drained at the weigh-in. But look, like we said last week, props to him. But I hope you fucking bang him out in the rematch. So, Mark, you kind of already answered this question, but you haven't. So, greatest achievement for you in boxing?
Turning pro.
Yeah.
Turning pro was just, I never thought it was even possible. And like I said to you before, it wasn't even about boxing as a fighter. It was more just using it as a interest in the gym. Turning pro, and obviously fighting for the Southern Area title, because again, it's just no one ever thought it. Like even myself, I never thought it was really realistic that I would fight for a title as a pro. So yeah, the turning pro and eventually fighting for the title was brilliant.
And will you stay involved in boxing?
Yes.
In what sense?
I'm not too sure yet. I just want to be around, even if it's the youngers, like to give them a little bit of advice, because my story is completely different to anybody who's coming through. Like, if they go and win the amateurs, win like schoolboys, go through the Olympics and all that. It's just my advice would be dedicated, massively be dedicated, because it's a lonely sport. Jack could agree with that. It can be a really horrible sport. Get good people around you, and yeah, you will be sacrificing a lot of your time. Them nights out with your mates and all that. If you're a youngster and you're doing it, forget about them, because if you want to be at the top, and I never got to the top like that, but I mean, I can imagine if you want to get right to the top, yeah, they don't matter. What matters is the hard work and dedication in the gym.
Jack, same to you. Will you stay involved in boxing once your days are numbered?
I don't really know. Like, I'd like to. Like, there's always a part of me that's like, yeah, I'd love to get my seconds license and be involved in like my gym mates' big nights and so on and so forth. But at the same time, I love, doing things outside of boxing. Like, obviously, spending time with my missus, like playing on, watching WWE, which is like a 3 hour show and stuff, and sometimes when you've had a hard day at work, like if it's a normal day, like an 8 hour shift, or if it's a shift like Mark, like 12 hours, can you really be bothered to, then go down to a gym and then,
That's right.
be like, sometimes it's hard. Like even now, sometimes I'm just like, oh, this is just long. Like, and, I've got like some of the biggest fights in my life.
Yeah.
I've taken part, but I do love it and I would like to be a part of it, but it all just depends, It all depends on how I feel at the time.
I suppose that's a tough question to answer as well, because you're quite far, well, hopefully quite far away from that happening. What's the next one? Jack, how do you beat Paul Roberts this time round? Do a Jack answer. Don't do a nice answer. Do a Jack answer. Come on, make me laugh.
I just did it for him.
I don't know if I can make you laugh by putting me on the spot, but I just think I think we've lost Mark.
Mark's connection gone. He'll be back. Go on, carry on.
Yeah, I just think that my style is wrong for Paul. Like, to be honest, I know the first fight was close, and I think I made it closer than it needed to be. But as you could see, when I was like kind of pushing him back and being aggressive, he just didn't like it, and he didn't really have much answers to it. It was when I let him kind of control the pace was my biggest kind of downfall in it all. And I just think just being me is going to be like, if the best Jack Hughes turns up and the best Paul Roberts turns up, I just think the best Jack Hughes wins 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah, I agree. I think and like I say, I think the cut hindered it quite a lot. But yeah, I agree. When you add him backwards, he didn't like it, and I think you're going to do it this time. Mark, are you back?
I'm back. I can see you, if that's good. I can hear you as well, so it's all good.
That's good. Yeah. All right. Cool. Mark, would you come back for the rematch with Daniel Mendez in 6 months' time if it's for the same terms as the first fight?
Not in 6 months, because it'd be too long out. If there was similar terms now and I had time to get back in the gym, yeah, I'd get back in the gym for it 100%.
So say in 2 weeks' time, he's supposed to be fighting on the same night as Jack. Steve rings you up and says, Mark, we can't find an opponent for Mendez. Sell your tickets and you can fight.
Yeah, it'd be hard not to. The only problem is I ain't got a license anymore. My license has run out.
Oh God! Can you imagine that? Christ! Don't. Well, I personally, I don't think Mendez will fight again, but let's leave that.
Yeah, no.
Jack,
who knows?
Mark, sorry.
He's slightly behind.
No.
Oh God. Yeah, he's done, mate. He was just slightly behind. He was just answering what you were saying.
Oh, okay, that's my fault. Right, okay. Right. Ask Jack, if he beats Paul Roberts, will he fight the winner of Casey Kadimi versus Ijaz Ahmed for the British? If so, which fight would he prefer?
Yes, I would, and I would prefer to fight. Is it Ahmed?
Ijaz Ahmed.
Ahmed. Just solely because Casey's like my friend, so I wouldn't. If I had the choice, I would rather fight Ahmed. But I believe Casey was going to win that fight because I just think Casey's all around better than him. The first fight was close, and I did think Casey lost it. But when I watched the second fight, I just can't see how they give that a draw. I thought Casey won it quite convincingly, and I think he's going to do the same in the third fight, and I think he'll be the new British champion.
What's the score over the 2 fights so far?
Ahmed won the first one. I think it was a split, and then the second was a draw.
All right. Well, if you're part of Kadimi, I'm part of Kadimi. Mark and Jack, start with you, Mark. Your toughest fight and your best win. I know you said your best win was probably that. Well, maybe it wasn't your best win, but yeah, toughest fight, best win.
Toughest fight was that Daviditis at Brentwood, just because of his sheer awkwardness. And like I say, it was my first step up to 6 rounds, which, yeah, that was probably my 2 best. That was my best and hard, like most difficult, really.
And okay, yeah. And for you, Jack?
My best win would be against Raymond Comey. He was African champion. He won like 2 African titles. I think it was the African title and the Ghanaian title, and he was like a featherweight at the time, and I had gone up 2 weights to fight him because they couldn't find an opponent for me, and obviously he had a winning record, and yeah, like, you know, a multiple champion in weights heavier than me, so that was my best win by far. And then my hardest fight I would probably say it was Paul Roberts. You know, like it was a war, 10 rounds, Southern area. I suffered 3 cuts. You know, I was literally fighting with one eye, I had blood going into my eye, and it just showed a lot of character for both of us. So yeah, I'd have to say that was the hardest fight.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I'm glad you didn't say the shrimp's name. In the words of Jack Noah's shrimp, Ricky Little. Jack, when does camp start? I have seen you have been back in the gym, but I'm guessing it's not full camp. P.S. Can't wait to see the rematch. You're going to win it this time. And can we please get a shirt for the night, please?
Yes, you can get a shirt. And yeah, so obviously, like most camp generally, it is like an 8-week period. And before that, you kind of do just kind of tick over. And then when the 8 weeks starts, that's when like things really start to, you know, go up a notch and all that. But yeah, like, I'm in the gym here and there, you know, nothing too serious, just kind of keeping my body active and, you know, shedding off a little bit of weight here and there. My coach wants me to pick it up a little bit now. We're like 10 weeks out now, which a 10-week camp is kind of reasonable as well, especially for a title fight. But again, I think there will still be it will be more serious, but the next 2 weeks ain't going to be as hard as when it hits the 8-week period.
And are you still drinking Monsters?
Yeah, bro, of course.
All the camp. Anyone don't know, Jack drinks Monsters, yeah, all camp. So for people that say he's still drinking energy drinks and he's still doing this, he will drink Monsters until what, a week out?
Mate, all of that stuff, yeah, is like you can't eat this and you can't eat that. It's all, in my opinion, it's all a myth, yeah, to an extent, because there are some people that just can't shed, like that really struggle to shed weight. But like, it's, in my opinion, it's all like old school like myths, man, because if you obviously we all know who Chris Algieri is, and like Chris Algieri is like a top athlete and he's also a top nutritionist. And like I've watched hundreds of videos of Chris Algieri and like him talking about like making weight and what he eats and so on. And someone asked him once, like, you know, he asked him what he eats and he was naming everything healthy. And then the guy said, "Oh, what about cheat days?" And Chris Algieri's reply was, I don't believe in cheat days. And I thought at the time he meant he doesn't believe in them as he doesn't have them. And I think that's what the guy thought that was interviewing him. And then he elaborated and said, if I want something like a McDonald's, I just eat it whenever I want. And he said, but I'm just willing to put the work in to burn it off. And also, I had a coach called Adam down at State of Mind. And he said the same thing. He said, there's no such thing as bad food. He said, food is energy. So if you're putting food into your body, you're giving your body energy. He said, you can lose weight by eating. You can lose weight by eating shit as long as you're in a calorie deficit. So if you're always in a calorie deficit and you're always burning off and working hard, you're going to lose weight regardless, because there's no way that you can eat shit but burn more calories than you're eating and put on weight. It's just not physically possible. So, but obviously, if you was to eat McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, then yeah, it would have an effect on your performance, because obviously, I know I just said there's no such thing as bad food, but it is shit. So I mean, it does affect it in that sense. But like, but you get where I'm coming from. So for me, having a Monster every day it's not going to affect my performance because I'm having an extremely clean diet for breakfast, for lunch, and dinner, and I'm also just drinking basically water. But for a little treat here and there, I have a Monster.
Yeah.
And also throughout my whole career, I've always had chocolate during camp, and I've had my cheat meals here and there, and then sometimes I have like 2 cheat meals a week or so on. Obviously, I'm quite lucky in the sense that I must have a fast metabolism and it burns off quick for me. But also in the same time, have you ever seen me not finish the rounds? Have you ever seen me struggle when I'm in the gym? Have you in my opinion, it's all just a myth. It's an old school theory, but sports science progresses, progresses, and we find out new things. And our hand and heart believe that it's all bullshit. That you can eat what you want to an extent. I mean, if you're eating it every day, day in, day out, like yes, it will affect your performance. But if you do it, if you put structure behind what you're doing, then I just can't see how it will affect your performance.
That's a very good answer, I think. What about with you, Mark? How was you like during camp making weight? Did you find it easy enough, or?
Yeah, I never struggled to make weight. Never ever struggled. I always kept to a good plan. But yeah, like Jack says, I always had a cheat meal, or if it's a cheat or not. Yeah, I always, it's just the way it is, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? If you put enough into to your workouts and things like that, you'll burn it off. You will do. Do you know what I mean? You'll find out that you're probably not training hard enough if you're struggling to make weight. I don't believe it would be all your bad food. It would be that you got to get your runs in, you got to get in the gym, get your sparring in. Yeah, of course, like Jack said, you've got to be eating clean. You've got to, don't take it. Oh yeah, you can eat McDonald's and still be a pro. That's stupid. But yeah, no, you can. You just got to be sensible with it. You can't go out eating McDonald's 5 days a week, doing 1 run a week, and think you're going to be a pro boxer. It's not going to work.
Yeah, I think until I see. Well, just you now, Jack. Until I see you in a sweatsuit, I'm not going to tell you to stop drinking Monsters. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just what it is. But there's 2 more, and their statements. So, first one, Mark. I was at your fight in March. You were stonewall robbed, gutted, but so happy to see you retired. Are you still in the gym? And can I please get a signed shirt?
Yeah, I mean, I will be back in the gym. I haven't been back yet. Like I said, I just have no motivation at the moment to get back in the gym. I will do though, because I do miss it now. I'm starting to miss it a lot. And yeah, I can sort out whoever that is. Let me know. I'll sort out getting a shirt or something signed for him.
Lovely. And then Jack, not a question, but as to your ring walk, bad motherfucker, I think you are a tough motherfucker.
Thanks, mate. Whoever that is.
Yeah. And that is everything in the questions. So, Jack, over to you.
Right. So I think, Carl, do you have anything else? I mean, I'm all said and done.
No, well, actually, any thank yous, Mark? I know you finished your career and you ain't been on anything since you retired.
First of all, I have to thank absolutely everybody who ever bought a ticket for me, because, as Jack will say, on these small hall shows, it's about selling tickets, and if you don't sell tickets, you ain't fighting. So for everyone who's spent their hard-earned money on me, then I can't thank you enough. It's been the journey's been unbelievable. It just got bigger and bigger for me, which was great. Listening to people singing Bubbles when I was coming out was great. Yeah, it's brilliant. My sponsors, I'm going to try and read them off now if I can remember them all. I had Bars Building. I had BMP Scrap, BMP Waste, OMJ Electrical, Ogden Engineering, Aileen Environmental, DT38, DWJ Scaffolding, Boxfit. That was massive for me. Boxfit always helped me. Always got me the right stuff. Yeah, and there's many more. If I've missed anyone, I'm sorry. But yeah, listen, because as again, sponsors at these small hall shows at these for us boxers is massive.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah. In the last sort of year, I've got closer to fighters, and you can see the impact that sponsors have. Like especially you look at Jack's fight now; he's got no bloody fight shorts because they're covered in blood. I think you've got to replace it all, haven't you, Jack?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, my shirts I can still have, but yeah, my shorts they're done for.
And sorry, Jack, I didn't ask. Where can people buy or get your shirts from? Who should they message?
Just me, yourself, or my girlfriend Terry, because she's the one that designs them all for me. So
That's the cutest shout out, Terry. That's the shoot.
Shout out to the missus.
Tezabels.
Tezabels.
Hey, Tezabels. But no, that's all the questions from me, Jack. That's everything, mate.
Sweet then. So we'll wrap it up there. Thanks everyone for watching. Mark, thank you for joining us. Carl, as always,
No worries, thanks for having me.
You are very welcome, mate. So tune in next week for an episode of Let the Punks Talk. We'd really love to stay and chat, but we must dash.